I think it is appropriate at this point for me to admonish both the House managers and the President's counsel in equal terms to remember that they are addressing the world's greatest deliberative body.
That's Chief Justice John Roberts right around midnight Eastern time last night, admonishing both the right and the left, the impeachment managers in the Senate impeachment trial, because they feel, or he felt, that they were not respecting the Senate. He felt that their behavior was unacceptable. So we'll show you what brought on this admonishment. And it's just important to understand that this finger wagging makes no sense when it comes to the arguments made by Democrats. Look, with that said, let's go right to it. Let's go to the next video.
One reason it has earned that title is because its members avoid speaking in a manner and using language that is not conducive to civil discourse. In the 1905 Swain trial, a senator objected when one of the managers used the word pettifogging, and the presiding officer said the word ought not to have been used. I don't think we need to aspire to that high a standard, but I do think those addressing the Senate should remember where they are.
Oh yeah, that's right. The pettifogging incident of 1905. That's a good citation for the argument that John Roberts is making here.
Can we go one show without someone bringing up pettifogging? Honestly, it's just getting so repetitive.
I can't believe that was considered an unacceptable thing to say. I mean, in 1905, different times, but what is pettifogging? Pettifogging is an adjective placing undue emphasis on petty details. So what brought this on? It began with Jerry Nadler, who took issue with senators who vote against witnesses and evidence being subpoenaed in the Senate impeachment trial. Here are his evil words.
I see a lot of senators voting for a cover-up, voting to deny witnesses, an absolutely indefensible vote, obviously a treacherous vote, a vote against an honest consideration of the evidence against the president, a vote against an honest trial, a vote against the United States. A real trial, we know, has witnesses. We urge you to do your duty. Permit a fair trial. All the witnesses must be permitted. That's elementary in American justice. Either you want the truth, or you must permit the witnesses, or you want a shameful cover-up. History will judge, and so will the electorate.
So, was there anything said there that was disrespectful of the Senate? Was there anything said there that's unacceptable on the Senate floor as this impeachment trial goes on?
No.
Everything was accurate. That is exactly what Senate Republicans are doing. They are preventing Democrats from being able to subpoena documents and witnesses related to this trial in order to make their case. In any other trial, the idea of stopping the prosecution or preventing the prosecution from presenting evidence blows my mind. Like it doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in a trial.
Yeah. When they try to impeach President Sanders in a couple of years, they're definitely going to want to bring in witnesses. I can guarantee you that. And yeah, you don't get to be all incensed when we talk about a cover-up when you go into this process with Mitch McConnell saying there's going to be no distance between my strategy and the strategy of the White House. It's going to be the same exact thing. Well, yeah, that seems like you're trying to cover something up.
One of my favorite things to make fun of in Washington is the pearl clutching, right? Because oftentimes the fake outrage and the pearl clutching, it's all disingenuous. And nothing made that clearer than Trump's lawyer, Cipollone, sharing his outrage at Nadler's very accurate comments. Take a look.
We've been respectful of the Senate. We've made our arguments to you. And you don't deserve, and we don't deserve what just happened. He made false allegations against all of you. He accused you of a cover-up. He's been making false allegations against the president. The only one who should be embarrassed, Mr. Nadler, is you for the way you've addressed this body. This is the United States Senate.
how dare you call us out for wanting to obstruct evidence in this case?
Yeah.
How dare you? I am so aggrieved. Like it's so pathetic. It's so and so
it's Leon Cooperman all over again. It's like, how dare they do this? You burn Nadler.
For Justice Roberts to compare Nadler to the disgusting behavior of Republicans in this impeachment trial is unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
I mean, at every turn, Democrats are being held back from doing what they're supposed to do in this trial.
And that should bother the Chief Justice, you would think.
Right.
If he's supposed to be so interested in the Constitution and precedent. I mean, he knew what the pedophagy incident was. He's supposed to have a lot of respect for how these things are supposed to go. He should know that this impeachment trial is being run in a way that none of the past ones have. There have always been witnesses. This is the only one where there are not going to be witnesses. That should offend him at least as much as pedophagying.
And then there's more fake outrage from people like Senator Lindsey Graham. To my Democratic colleagues, you can say what you want about me, but I'm covering up nothing. I'm exposing your hatred of the president. If you're covering up nothing, then you should vote along with Democrats to allow them to subpoena witnesses and documents, right? If you have nothing to cover up, if you're not trying to help Donald Trump cover up his criminality as the president of the United States, why don't you allow for the witnesses? Wouldn't that be an excellent thing to do? So you can show the American people just how innocent Trump is and just how terrible Democrats are and their hatred for Trump?
Yeah, well, look, Lindsey Graham was one of those who was really outspoken back in the late 90s during the Clinton impeachment. And because of that, there's all this video that we've gone through on your show. I've gone through it on the Damage Report. He is one of the biggest hypocrites when it comes to impeachment. That's been demonstrated. He's a disgusting hypocrite on this topic, him and Alan Dershowitz basically. And so there's really no reason to even pay attention to him. He's not a free thinking person who's exercising independent judgment. He's doing whatever he thinks Donald Trump wants him to do here.
But I think it is important to call out the weak Democrats in the Senate, and Democratic Minority Whip Dick Durbin apologized for the behavior of Democrats in this trial, which should blow your mind, should enrage you. He said, quote, "I'm sorry, it was necessary, but I think it was appropriate to remind us that we have to maintain decorum and respect for one another throughout this process. How about respecting the American people and fighting hard to prevent criminality in the White House? I think that's way more important than your so-called decorum." Emotions were running high on both sides. Luckily, there are some Senate Democrats like Chris Murphy who refused to back down. He said this is a tried and true Republican tactic. They used to do this all the time with Pelosi, claimed they were voting a particular way because she was mean to them. Look, I can't stand Pelosi, but he's right about that. And so don't give in to them, don't apologize for them. Dick Durbin, what are you doing? They're obviously helping Trump cover up his crimes, and it's gross.
Yeah, and they're doing that a couple years after stealing a seat on the Supreme Court. Like they don't deserve any of your respect, okay? And it's not the greatest deliberative body. Maybe at some point back a long time ago, it was still horrendous and racist and all that, but they would occasionally shout at each other. They don't do that anymore. There's no deliberation. Any respect is just branding. That label is just branding. Nobody goes into any of these discussions. First of all, most of them don't even go to the discussions, but when they do, they don't do it with an open mind. Their donors have already told them how they're supposed to vote. In this case, Donald Trump has already told them everything they're going to do. There's no deliberation going on whatsoever.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.